So, what are some methods of studying? Let's see, Kate.
I think one particularly important one for me is like review, especially in classes that are heavy in notes, like let's say AP Euro or like history classes in general. You can do a lot of rereading and you can actually like review your homework too, even in classes that aren't focused on memorizing. Like there are still like processes in math that you have to remember or review. And another way I think is important is self-testing. That you can make note cards or you can go onto Quizlet and search for like a particular chapter you're working on or the vocab you need to study.
Yeah, definitely. Before we go on, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping that I forgot to do at the beginning. Audience members, there is a 10 to 15-second delay, so don't worry if your comment goes unnoticed or something. Feel free to comment any questions or comments you have in the comment section, and there will be a Q&A at the end, so we can respond to that. Gio, any other study methods?
Yeah, so I know there's two other study methods that I tend to use. So one is I know there's a lot of people that like to study by quizzing their friends and family because sometimes it's better to learn the topic you're being taught in class when you are educating your friends or family. So one way of doing that is creating a study group for your friends via a video chat like Google Meet or Zoom or FaceTime, because even though we can't meet in person like we usually did in traditional learning, we can always do study groups online because that's basically what we're doing for school anyway. And you can also do it in person, but if you're going to meet up with your friends in person, definitely stay 6 feet apart with your masks on. But it's always good to create study groups if that's the way you like to study, like I do. And then another thing is with new teachers, you don't know them very well, so you don't know their method of teaching or the way they try to get kids engaged in learning. And sometimes it's confusing. Sometimes you can't grasp onto what your teachers are trying to do. So what I tend to do is I tend to watch YouTube or Khan Academy videos if you need help understanding the concept in more depth, because sometimes the teacher's way of teaching is confusing. Another way is having a classmate or family member explain to you about what you don't understand, because uh, having someone talk about what you don't understand is a great way of understanding your concept in more depth, because sometimes asking the teacher is a little scary. And then another way, it's pretty costly, but online tutoring is definitely helpful because tutors are brought up to understand the concept that you're learning in class. That's what they studied in college. So sometimes having a tutor online can definitely help you boost your understanding of a concept.
Yeah, excellently said. We are in the perfect position to go into online school learning, right? With all the resources that are out there, and I'm sure there's more to come. So we just gotta go out there and find them and utilize them. Abby, got any more?
Yeah, a great method that I like to use is like reteaching something I just learned. So if I just learned like a really complicated math problem, for example, right after that class is over, I'll take it down to my parents and I'll try and like reteach it to them as if like they had no idea what I was talking about. Or with like a history, if I learned a history lesson, I'll say this is this, and like basically I'll reteach it how my teacher taught it so I can understand what I learned in my own words.
Yeah, that's a age-old classic method of studying, and it certainly works. Zoe, what about you?
Another method that you can use is to create new things to help you learn the material. Like one way is to turn the material that you get into test questions, especially if it's like notes that you have, like history notes or something. If you can take those and then rephrase them into questions as if you're writing a test, then you can quiz yourself that way. And you might like actually guess some of the questions that are on the test and be done faster than everyone else. Another thing that I like to use, since I'm a visual learner, is to create visuals to understand concepts. Like I remember drawing like little doodles in like my biology notebook to help visualize how the whatever concept it was, like how things fit together and that kind of stuff. You can also create flowcharts, particularly in English for essays or history, to help you see your thought process and how things connect, and just to have a visual version of what you're learning to help you stick in your head.
Excellent. Yeah. Creativity and visualization is probably the most important aspect of learning a topic. Obviously, all of the methods that we just brought up, use them or throw them away, or just use your own. The whole point that we're trying to get across here is that you can do literally whatever you want when it comes to studying. Whatever works for you, use it. And if you want to adapt your methods because you think your methods don't fit well with online learning, sure, go ahead, take some of our ideas, maybe research and find some other ones. Point being is, figure out what works for you, not what you're not, and don't be limited by how you studied in the past, because everything is changing and your studying shouldn't stay the same. It should change as well.